Hello guys, so that is my first super abberoth kill. It takes me a while to get there, and the fight is pretty messy. I'm not really good with mechanic, so now let's talk about the build. And I will put the planner on the descriptions. I have two planners, the one is for mapping, the one is for bossing. And I will go over some point that need explanations, and most of the thing in this build is pretty straightforward, so most of the information you can find on the planner. So number one is the special skill. The first one is the skeleton archer. The skeleton archer, we have a mechanic that can resummon the skeletons, and this is because the abomination have 20 skeleton cap, and if we go above 20 there will be a priority on variety of skeleton that you can observe. The first one is warrior, rogue, and archer, and this is the reason why I take this node over here. So I only have one warrior and 7 archer. And the reason why I go for archer is because of the eternal arrow. This one is pretty decent DPS, and also the cooldown is lower than the double strike, so they can kind of like become intermediate skills. And more archer will give more recurve, which basically more damage for the eternal arrow. And for the skeleton point, it's the same within bossing and mapping, so you don't have to change anything on this one. On the abomination, however, there's a one point that you have to unallocate if you switch between bossing and mapping. On Echo, contaminated dreams will kill your abominations. This is because the leech on last epoch seems to work based on the actual damage that applied to the monster. So the monster on the Echo doesn't really have that big of an HP, so the lead's not really that big, so the leads cannot keep up. And then basically you can take this one. This one will give you health, and the most important one is a threat generator, make you safer on the Echo because most of the monster will attack the abominations. And one important note, if you unspec this, make sure you resummon the abominations again so it will take effect. In this case I already resummon it, so just make sure you unspec this one and resummon the abominations. And for the other skill is the Dreadshed. This is pretty standard. This node will make the Dreadshed not dealing damage to the minion, and the green flag gives a lot of damage, and this one gives attack speed. This one gives damn chance, doesn't really matter, I just have a free point. You can take this point too, this is also not that bad. This one gives a little bit necrotic damage, it's not that big. This one gives more damage, and this one gives crit chance and crit multiplier. The Dreadshed gives a lot of DPS basically. And for the Aura of Decay, there's a note here, Blood Font. This basically make the Aura of Decay become physical, but the benefit of changing the poison into physical is because of this note over here. For an ability, this will make the enemy within the Aura of Decay area of effect will have less poison resistance, which because of the Blood Font, this become less physical resistance, and the abomination deal physical damage. And the Fume Weaver is also going to reduce the physical resistance more based on your intelligence. We have 108 intelligence, so it's going to reduce 108 physical resistance. And the last one is the Curse Bone. The Curse Bone is only used on bossing. I never use this on map because it's pretty slow, but Curse Bone give a lot of DPS, like this one give 50% more DPS, and it allow the abomination to deal Mark for Death. Mark for Death is like reduce the aura resistance by 25, so this one is pretty strong. And it also give more armor shred chance, so you shred the armor a lot faster. But for mapping, it's better to use Infernal Shade. So let me despecialize this skill, because after this I want to showcase the mapping, so we're going to take Infernal Shade, and 1, 2, 3 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1, 2, 3 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So you only need this point. Every other point after this, you can take any node that you want. For example, like this 2 node, and you can access to slow. So the Infernal Shade basically do slow around the abominations. And this one is ignite per seconds. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. The most important part for Infernal Shade is just this part. And for the items, this axe is only used because of the +2 acolyte minion skills. And the reason why I want the +2 because I'm using that rattles. Because that rattle give a lot of crit multi, and this is a lot of DPS. If you want to use Evolution End, because this one is already give you +2 all skills, you can change the axe into something like Bone Harvest. This is I think the only axe that I think you can use with this one. There's nothing else. So this one give melee necrotic damage, is a little bit of damage, and give some increased minion damage, and also 12 intelligence is also not that bad. And for the other items, one that is very important, you need at least 1 physical resistance on the LP. And for the idol, I'm using Tyrant Skull. I try other primordial items, for examples like this Primal Cadence. This one actually pretty good clear because of the explode, but the problem is the Tyrant give a lot of DPS, so I just use this one because it just gives a lot of DPS. The +4 level is also really helpful. Now for the idol, basically just health and minion cooldown recovery. And then for the small one, you want health and resistance. This one, you will need 2 fire resistance and then 2 cold resistance. And for the glove, but for the prefix, it's supposed to be increased critical strength for the minions. In this case, I do not have that mod, so do not look for the damage with Ripload, just look for the critical strength for minions. And for the passive, this 3 note over here is kind of a free point. The reason why I take this one is because it gives the minion haste and frenzy whenever I cast a curse bone. This one is basically for the Uber Abberoth. You can probably put it into something else. For example, like frantic summons. It gives more attack speed on mapping. Attack speed is pretty useful. But this 3 note is not really mandatory. I only use this 3 note just for like extra boost on the Uber Abberoth. And I think that's all about the setup. So now let's do some map just to showcase how it works. And don't forget to change your skill bar into Infinite Shade whenever you go from boss into mapping, and buff your abominations, in case I wanted to do it, but you know, don't forget to do that. And for the stance itself, I'm still using defensive stance, and this is because the aggressive stance doesn't really do anything aggressive. I feel like now, for what it is right now, it's more like a suicide stance rather than the aggressive stance, because number one, whenever I see aggressive stance, I expect the aggro range will be a lot bigger than, you know, non-aggressive stance. But what it stands right now, it have practically the same aggro range, which is basically the most important part of the minion being aggressive is non-existence, and you're basically just harming yourself with aggressive stance. So I just stand with defensive stand and just manually redirect the minions. And also the minions, when it nears you, for some reason it reduces movement speed. I think is to prevent spinning. Spinning is when the minion come back to you and it will, like, you know, it will go past you and then going around again because it's moving so fast. Well, guess what? That doesn't really solve it, and the movement speed slow is actually pretty bad for the build. So I don't really know why they do that, while it's not solving the problem, which they claim they solved the spinning part, which kind of weird. So yeah, I mean, the AI for the minion is really dumb. You have to be manually doing it if you want to do the map like somewhat fast. I will say that this is pretty decent. It's not super slow or anything like that, but you definitely have to like manually target the minions, and the aggressive stance is also not really doing anything. So whatever promise they give on the patch, I don't think they do what they promised to do. Like, they say that they improve the minion AI. I don't see the improvement. There is an improvement, it's just not that significant. And the aggressive stance is not really doing the aggressive stance. It's, like I said, it's more like a suicide stance, because it will make the minions attack more and not coming back to you even though you're getting attacked, which is not what aggressive stance is supposed to be. And the aggro range is also not increasing, so you basically still have to come to the monster first, which is kind of defeat the point of the aggressive. It's like you want aggressive mode so it can go around and kill stuff without you have to be, you know, close to the enemy, and that's make the minion more offensive than a more, you know, aggressive stance. Like in any RPG that I play, whenever the minion have like minion is aggressive or minion is have like an aggressive stance, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to proactively reach the enemy, while this one doesn't really do that, and you have all the downside, which is, I don't know, for me the aggressive stance is dumb. And the next one, let's do the timeline bosses, just to showcase like you don't really need anything else for something like this. You can do this and do this. They die pretty fast, so don't really bother with it. About the aura decay, you want to make sure the enemy is around inside the area, just in case that one is not clear. So this is the Harbinger. They die pretty fast, so yeah. So I think that's all about the build, and if you guys have any questions, as usual, leave in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. And after this, I will prep for the PoE 2, even though I really don't know what I'm supposed to do in PoE 2, because we do not get any informations that are kind of useful. Like, I don't know the change on the Spectre, I don't know the change on the passive tree, so I have no idea what to prep for the PoE 2. But PoE 2 will launch soon, so I will play that one. But after I'm done with PoE 2, I will come back to Last Epoch again, because there is one other build that I want to try, which is Mana Flame Leech. So with that said, thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in the next one.